cast of 35 people for Balm and Gilead, which is really quite large, and as you can see, we're taking up 3 racks for this show. There are a lot of costumes and a lot of different kinds of people. We have prostitutes, we have hustlers, we have drug addicts, and that's reflected in the variety of clothing that we have. Also, over here, we have Dopey, and Dr. and I had to talk a lot about characters because there are so many of them, and we started to create backstories. And one of the backstories we created was that Dopey was actually in the military. And so we have this fatigue jacket that he wears, as well as just some really worn down and beat out clothing because he's kind of lost himself. And so we wanted to be able to bring that forward in our show. Alongside this cast of people that are just kind of like lost and a lot of their clothing is dirty and worn down, we also have some singers. And so their costumes are a lot flashier, there's a lot more going on there, they're a lot brighter, whereas you'll notice in the rest of the cast they have duller and darker colors. Before me you can see the design work that I did for Balm and Gilead. Because there's such a large show and such a small budget, we decided to do collages rather than renderings, because when a designer creates their renderings, they're creating a very specific look, and when they hand that off to their crew will do everything that they can to make it exactly as the designer has rendered. And the way that we're approaching Balm and Gilead is rather a more fluid way, and that I've provided an archive of images here that kind of more so capture the essence of the character rather than being specific. I have some ideas of what we could put on them, and from there we go out and we go shopping and try to find things that would fit the best of what we think this character is. So you can see up on the top I have the main characters Joe and Darlene. I've put them in these earth sort of tones to make them more down to earth and more relatable, and because of this it separates them from the rest of the cast who is in more slate tones, really dark tones. I think that's important because it shows that Joe and Darlene aren't exactly fully immersed in the disparity and in the drugs and abuse that happens. We also have a lot of hustlers, and some of them look great and they look top-notch, and they are the guys who get around and get what they want, where some of them are not so great and they end up getting beat up a lot. Like, for example, Thick. A lot of his clothing is burnt, it's torn, and throughout the play he loses his things as he gets beat up. We also have Al, who's a homeless man, and he's essentially kind of just drunk the whole show, and I feel like he's a character that you look at and you wonder what was the potential of who he was, and who was he before this all happened. And I think that's the point of this whole play, is that these people had dreams and they had aspirations and they had a bigger picture, but because of whatever reason, because of their family life, because of finances, something led them to where they are now and to the sad shell of what they could have been. And I think that's such an important warning for young people, that we have to remember to stay true to who we are